Much of modern parenting is all secular therapy, and it's no theology. And in our recent live stream, we briefly mentioned this, and we want to unpack this more because as we have taken a deep dive into modern parenting advice, and particularly in the live stream we talked about the gentle parenting movement. What we've seen across the board, and whether it's gentle parenting, conscious parenting, etc., so much of the talk and the language that's used indicate it. You conceive of parenting and you conceive of your children through the lens of modern secular psychology, and so you're going to hear it in the language. And this is consistent with Carl Trueman's work in The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self and Strange New World, which is kind of an adaptation of that, where we have come to conceive of ourselves, our identities, what it means to be human in psychological concepts. And so modern psychology has this profound influence on the way that we even think about parenting. Mm-hmm. And so let's illustrate this.
Can I? Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm just thinking, I probably should say a thought before I forget. And so this is one way we detect secular thinking on these topics, is that they will try to find answers for all the problems in the natural world. So for example, because God and the supernatural isn't a possibility, then they have to explain what we find in children, for example, since we're talking about parenting. They have to explain it through the realm of their brain can't handle this. This is why they're doing this. And so they have to find answers in the natural world. So they're not even going to consider something like sin or spiritual language at all, because that's not even, why would that even be a part of the discussion?
Yeah, I think what you're bringing up, Erin, is so important. And this is why we talk about the Christian worldview all the time, because there's worldview ideas that are undergirding these other ideas. And if you aren't thinking worldviewishly, if you aren't growing in your knowledge of the Christian worldview, you are going to have a real difficult time spotting these things. Because what you're talking about is we could refer to it as a materialistic worldview or a naturalistic worldview that fundamentally says nature, the natural world, physical processes are kind of all that there is. At bottom, reality consists of what we can sense with our five senses. It's kind of physics and chemistry to explain everything. Mm-hmm. There's no supra-natural. It's all natural, right? And even if someone wouldn't explicitly say, "Oh, I'm a materialist," that you want to see if that's in their worldview, if that's kind of embedded in the concepts and in the ideas that they say. And so, so we see this tendency to go to, science or quote unquote science or neuroscience or, biology for the fundamental explanations. Because, and again, are we saying that psychology and therapy, these are all bad? No. Yeah. That if you heard that, let me just correct you. That's not what we said.
We're not attacking science. We're not saying you don't look at science at all. Of course, the study of the natural world is good.
But this is why worldviews are so important, because what has dominated modern American thought is kind of a naturalistic scientism. Scientism is the view that you can only know reality, truth and reality through the sciences. And so that's the only place where you're going to get real knowledge about real kids. And if that worldview is wrong, then what it tells you about what you can know and about reality is going to be way off. And we would say it is wrong, because the true worldview, the Christian worldview, tells us there is physical reality and there's also immaterial reality. And so if you try to simply explain a child and their behavior and how to raise them merely through these kind of natural processes, if that's all you have in your worldview toolbox, so to speak, to explain reality, you are going to have a shrunken view of reality. So I think that was a really important comment to just get us to pause and to say, hey, there are worldviews underneath all of this. And so that good worldview thinking will help equip us to navigate this stuff, because this is not easy to navigate. As a parent who's working 9 to 5 or who's at home all day with the kids, and we live in such busy lives.
So you'll hear advice like the one we read before, that our kids want to feel safe and secure in the confidence that they will be taught and guided with patience and tolerance, not punished. Okay, so there'll be truth in there that, of course, our kids want to feel safe and secure, that we're going to teach them and guide them
with patience. Yeah.
But then it adds on, not punished. Well, okay, here's the problem. We would say from a Christian worldview, that's a problem, because, well, first we would ask, what do you mean by punish? But so this is the problem, because part of the statement is true and the other part of the statement needs to be clarified and thought through. So this is why you have to be thoughtful, because there is some truth and there is some things that might not be true.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We want to illustrate this point we're making right now. Here's the point. We think primarily in terms of therapeutic concepts, not theological concepts.